Yeah, y'all. Hi, it's Annelies. And today was, I don't think I need to say it. Do I need to? Okay, I'll say it. Today was Apple Christmas, except this time it was like when it's like a month after actual Christmas, or when you thought actual Christmas was supposed to be, and then your parents pick you up from school one day, and then you're like driving for a really long time. Like you've definitely passed your house by now. And then you go, hey, where are we going? And then they turn around from the front seat and they go, we're going to Disneyland. And they take like 4 pairs of Mickey ears and they chuck them at you in the back. And then everybody just starts screaming. That is what today was. Now listen, I don't watch spoiler videos. Back in the day, before they were very prevalent on YouTube, I used to go on Mac Rumors and see what the new hot goss on when the next iPhone was coming out. But now that the rumors are too good, I like to stay away because these events are like the one thing I have to look forward to, and I don't want them spoiled. But I have seen the thumbnails and the titles pop up in my YouTube recommended, so I know what was rumored. I know what people were thinking was going to be here today, or be announced today. But I'm here to talk about what actually happened. We've got HomePod Mini, we've got some good environmental updates, and we have iPhone. 4 iPhones. iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Mini, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPhone 12 Pro Max. Wow. This Apple movie wasn't like as fancy and fun as the last one. It was still stunning and beautiful, so if you can handle all the tech talk, definitely watch it. But if you just want to know what was announced today, along with some thoughts from yours truly, you are in the right place, so let's get started. HomePod Mini. When I tell you this was the thing that I hoped for, I dreamed for, and all this talk of these AirTags nonsense was cluttering my joy. All of my hopes and dreams went away that a HomePod Mini would never exist in 2020. And then the first thing to be announced, they said the word HomePod, and I was like, Mini better follow that word. This event could have just been for the HomePod Mini, and I would have been thrilled. And then we got more on top of it. But anyway, let's talk about HomePod Mini. When the first HomePod came out, I knew I wanted it. However, I could not justify that $300 price tag. Also, she's a little chunky for my little desk over here. And then, a couple years ago, my friend Angelina got me the lovely Google Home Mini, which lives right here. And she's great. She's fantastic. But there is just like one big thing that fell short for me personally with the Google Home Mini. I don't use any Google systems or services besides Google Drive and YouTube Premium. So it doesn't talk to like any of my things, and essentially the only things I can do with it are play music using my like Google Play YouTube Premium subscription, or have it set timers and alarms for me. So it's great for that. It's great for that. That just didn't do any of the smart things I wanted it to do. But wait a second. Is that HomePod's music I hear? Oh my God! It's the HomePod Mini entering the ring with its signature move, being an Apple product. Ah! But in all seriousness, this is exactly the thing I dreamed for, and it's just little cute. It looks like a little Epcot ball, and by that I mean it's a sphere, so that's cute. I love it. The Apple home speaker that would talk to all of my devices and also not break the bank. Most importantly, not breaking the bank. The HomePod is a smart speaker, like the Amazon Echo or the Google Home. You can, of course, use it as a speaker, but the smart part of it is where it includes the virtual assistant for each respective company. So Alexa for Amazon, and Google Assistant for Google, and then Siri for Apple. With the help of these assistants like Siri for Apple, you can do things like checking your schedule, sending a message to somebody, sending a reminder, playing music, asking how many cups are in a gallon. The possibilities are endless. And then when you get to the realm of like automating your home, you can do things like setting your temperature, changing the color of your lights, locking the front door. There are so many possibilities when it comes to having like a smart home and a smart speaker accompanying that whole ecosystem. There we go. In all honesty, there is a lot of things they talked about when it came to like the speaker end of the HomePod, but this is all that I need to know, is that it has Siri, it is small, it costs $99, and it sounds good. Cool for me. That's all I want. Those are all the things that I needed to know that I will be pre-ordering this thing as soon as I can. Now, the one thing I did want to talk about for a second when it comes to the HomePod and something that's being introduced with the HomePod Mini is intercom. Now, I realized when I was trying to explain this to somebody that you might need to know what an intercom is, because that's not exactly like self-explanatory, but an intercom is a standalone voice communication system for use within a building or small collection of buildings functioning independently of the public telephone network. And that's what the intercom feature on the HomePod is that. So now that you know the definition, you know what intercom does. Ta-da! But intercom integrates with more than just HomePods. So first of all, if you have multiple HomePods in your house, HomePod Minis or regular, you can use it as an intercom. So you can say, hey, SIRI, intercom the whole house, pizza's here, or like, hey, you know who, intercom to Jake's bedroom, come down, dinner's ready. These are all food related suggestions, but you get what I mean. And also, what is even coolier about it is then you can intercom to devices like iPads, iPhones, and Apple Watches, so that way the audio message that you're sending through the intercom also gets to those devices in the event that not everybody has a HomePod in their rooms. I love watching these ads and like explainer videos that they put in the keynotes about like all this automated home stuff, especially with HomePod and intercom, because this is 100% a representation of what my house is gonna look like with my future husband and kids. Like smart house, here we come. I'm ready for it. The HomePod Mini is going to be $99. It comes in white and space gray. You can get Apple Care Plus on it for 2 years for $15. And pre-orders for the HomePod Mini will start November 6th and they will be available November 16th, which is way too far away, but I'm willing to wait knowing that it just exists. It's not like a pipe dream anymore. I'm so excited. Once they were done talking about the HomePod Mini, I was just like so excited. They could have ended the keynote there and I would have been happy. But they said, hey, not just one more thing, 4 more things to be exact. And those things are iPhones. So let's talk about it. Now let's cut to the chase. Those rumors were trumors. We did get 4 iPhones, and they go as follows: iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Mini, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now the easiest way to split these guys up is the 12s and the Pros. The 12 and the 12 Mini are essentially the same thing, just different sizes, and the same goes for the Pro and the Pro Max, aside from like a few camera things. Now there are a few things that I am a little jazzed about, but let's go ahead and cover the basics first. As every new iPhone is, this is the best iPhone yet, which, I mean, I would hope that it would be the best iPhone yet, not like Tim Cook would come on stage and be like, this is the iPhone 12. The last year's was a little bit better, but I mean, we made it new. Like, I'm glad that they're making them better. It's just funny to hear every year because it's the exact same thing, but at the same time, I'm glad that it's the best iPhone yet. I don't know, it's just funny to me. Across the board, we have the A14 Bionic chip, which is pretty much faster and also smaller and also more energy efficient and can do fast. It is fast. And when I say small, they say on their website that some of the dimensions are only atoms wide, and it's like 5 nanometers. So this is a teensy tiny little chip, which is cool, I guess. I don't know what the benefit of it being super small is. Maybe more room for a battery. Now, as you can see, the iPhone 12 lineup mimics the design of the iPhone 5 and 4 series, which when it was first like leaked and talked about, I was like not keen on, but now that I actually see it, I'm not mad about it. It looks actually pretty good. I do really like the design with the rounded edges that was introduced with the iPhone 6 and that like I have on my iPhone XS here, but I like this new look. I think they executed it pretty well, and it also gives you more room to like make the display more edge to edge, and then it's a little bit thinner that way. I don't know, I'm cool with it. They also come in a few new colors. So the iPhone 12s come in 5 colors and the iPhone 12 Pros come in 4 colors. Now I am a classic silver girl. However, that Pacific blue is gorgeous. It's tempting. That implies that I would be getting an iPhone 12 Pro. I haven't looked at the numbers on my budget about that yet, but I mean, the Pacific blue is pretty. Y'all can keep that color. It's very nice. I'm very into it. The iPhone 12s have an aluminum band and the iPhone 12 Pros have a stainless steel band that wrap around the edges of the phone that also act like the antenna for this 5G phone. Did you know that iPhones now have 5G? These are the first iPhones with 5G, which is super fast. 5G is like the fastest. Also, Verizon has really good 5G. Did you know about that? Because now you'll be able to download things really fast with the power of the iPhone 12 because of 5G, which is super fast. Did I mention this phone has 5G yet? Because it does. In case you forgot, there is 5G within this phone. This is the 5G iPhone. Isn't that crazy? 5G, 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 5G! 5G. Which is pretty much what this whole event felt like. It felt like it needed to have like hashtag spawn, hashtag ad by 5G featuring Verizon throughout the entire thing. They really wanted to emphasize how fast 5G is. So 5G's fast if you didn't know that. Cool. Now all these iPhones are IP68 water resistant, which I like to say is for oopsies, not adventures. We also have ceramic shield glass, which is the toughest glass on any smartphone on the market, and also the Super Retina XDR OLED display. Translation, it is the prettiest and toughest glass on the market on a smartphone. And then across the board we have updated cameras, but especially within the iPhone 12 Pros, and then the thing we've been waiting years for. It's finally here. It is air power. I'm sorry, hold on just one second. Hello? Yeah, no, what was that? They scrapped the project? But, wait, they weren't just gonna say anything, or they were just gonna act like it never happened? Okay, it's called MagSafe, yeah. Well, I mean, we're all familiar with... They're trying to act like MagSafe is a new thing? But I don't Okay, well, I mean, no, I'll tell them. A wallet? Why Hello? I'm so sorry. I misspoke. The thing we've all been waiting for. MagSafe! It's just wireless charging that is meant to be better, and then there's also these cases that work with the wireless charging, and then these like magnetic wallets that can go on the back that also work with wireless charging or something like that. I mean, if it's supposed to be better, cool. There's also like this new cool charger that like looks like this thing for the watch and the phone. I'm into that. Cool, I guess. They're just gonna act like AirPower didn't exist. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now that we got all of the basics of the phones out of the way, I want to talk about a few things that I am excited about. Starting off, it's the iPhone 12 mini, which I know sounds silly, but I do have some friends that do have rather small hands. My big old Viking claws can't relate, but I know the importance of having a small phone. That's why people really liked the old SE, because it was the iPhone 5S size. So the fact that this iPhone 12 mini is kind of like that is pretty cool. But the one thing that I did not like, and I'm not a fan of Apple, I'm calling you out here, is that in the keynote they said it starts at $699, which is technically true, but they mentioned something about a deal with like carriers, and the $699 thing is only if you buy your phone through AT&T or Verizon. If you just want to get the SIM-free, no carrier-locked phone, it starts at $729. So that was just a little fishy to me, but like, now you know. Now, although I did goof on the MagSafe thing just a little bit, I am pretty excited about the improvements with it. I have never used wireless charging because I do have a case with a pop socket, and I know the case doesn't work with the wireless charging or something like that, but if this is supposed to improve it and then I can get a case that does work with it, I mean, I'll still be using my pop socket, so I don't know how much I'm gonna benefit from it, but like I said, I do want that watch phone travel charger thing. That thing's pretty sick. I'm also really interested to see how well that wallet thing works. I'm definitely not gonna use it, but I just wanna see how strong the magnets are. It was intriguing. Now moving on to the pros is where things get a little wild. And the thing that like shook me to my core, I was not expecting, was Apple Pro RAW. Now if you're a photographer, I bet your little photographer ears just perked up a little bit. And that is because Apple Pro RAW is kind of what you would assume from the name. It is Apple's version of a RAW photo for the iPhone. Now if you're not a photographer and you don't know what a RAW photo is, it is a file type. So typically you use like JPEG, and that just takes all of the information within the image and like smushes it into one file. But RAW kind of separates everything, so that way the image is not only more detailed and higher quality, but it's also easier to edit and easier to be detailed with your editing. It's essential for any photographer, especially professional photographers. By having Apple Pro RAW, it's Apple's version of that, but on the iPhone, so it's using all their computational photography that they do. Instead of smushing them together, it leaves them sort of layered on top of each other, so you have more freedom with your editing while still getting the benefits of using an iPhone camera. I think this is really exciting. What I love about all of the updates that Apple has done with their cameras on these phones, especially with the Pros, is they're really keeping the photographer in mind and not just the casual iPhone photographer. They're keeping in mind people who do this for a living. And the old adage goes, the best camera is the one you have have with you. And if the one in your pocket on your phone is actually a fantastic camera, like that could potentially change the game. I mean, I know I've taken some really good pictures on an iPhone. That was just with like old technology. Now with this new stuff, like a wider aperture, so like this is like the fastest aperture at a f1.6. You've also got like updated telephoto. There's new night mode updates. And then on top of that all, with the pros, we now have a LiDAR scanner, which is distance and range, and it helps with AR and telling the distance between things. But that helps when it comes to photos, especially like low light photos, and giving you a more depth of field. Is if maybe you can't pick up the depth of field because there's not enough light, the LiDAR scanner can help you give the depth. I'm explaining this absolutely terribly, but a LiDAR scanner is not only cool for augmented reality, it's cool for photography. So moral of the story, when it comes to the iPhones, all of them have been upgraded in some way when it comes to either a wider angle wide camera or the f1.6 aperture, the telephoto on some of the cameras, but then mainly when it comes to the pros, we've got Apple Pro RAW coming in the future. By the end of this year, we have LiDAR scanners on the Pro cameras, and then overall updating of night mode so your night photos look great. Just knowing that they're improving that type of technology too. And then for the front-facing camera, oh good golly, then they have like Dolby Vision coming in video recording. Like I said, Apple is not just keeping the casual photographer in mind. They're keeping the professional photographer in mind with these cameras, and I just really want to get my hands on one. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the iPhones. It's not that things weren't exciting, because I think there's a lot of cool updates, but nothing was like, this is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's still awesome nonetheless. But the thing that I got even more jazzed about when it came to this whole announcement, I would say like HomePod Mini was number one. And then honestly, number two was the environmental impact that Apple is. That was a really bad way to put just like Apple in the environment. That's what I want to talk about right now. I'm kind of planning on making a whole video about just the topic of like Apple and the environment, but a few things that I wanted to touch on real quick are, one, all these iPhones are going to be made using 100% recycled rare earth materials within the magnets, so like, wow, that's big. Number two, they announced that all Apple offices, retail stores, and data centers, I believe, yeah, are 100% carbon neutral as of 2020. I cannot wrap my mind around how big of a deal that is. Like I said, that's why I want to make a whole video about this. And then three, and the thing that will probably cause like the most controversy, is that earpods, like the wired earpods, and a USB charging brick, the charging adapter, will not be included in the boxes of the new iPhones, which I think I mentioned this in my video about the last event, how they weren't including them in the boxes of the Apple Watches, the USB adapters, and everybody was saying it's coming soon for the iPhone, and here it is, which in turn makes a smaller box, which once again uses less material to make the boxes, but then also, like they mentioned in the keynote, you can fit more iPhones onto one pallet, therefore being able to ship more at one time, reducing your carbon footprint that way. So that is all good things. There's so much to talk about, and I actually cut a whole section out of my last video because I wanted to make this individual video because I have a lot of things to say about the environment and Apple and all the things, but I wanted to notate that just so you know, because I think that it's very good, very important, yay. Good environment. We love the earth. We love the earth in this house. If you'd be interested in a video about me talking about like Apple and the environment, please let me know in the comments, especially if there's any specific thing that you would want me to touch on or address. I'd love to hear anything you want to see in that video because I think it's definitely something I want to do. Because like I said, I have a lot to say about it. So with all that being said, that is everything that was announced at this event. I am very happy with this Apple Christmas. I really can't wait to get my hands on some of these things. Now, your girl has been itching for a new iPhone. I'll have to check the piggy bank and see if all the coins add up. I definitely have my eye on that iPhone 12 Pro. Also, like you bet your boots that HomePod Mini is mine. I will find the funds. I will look under couch cushions. It's mine. It's mine. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'd love to know what y'all think about anything that I mentioned today or that was announced today. If you're in the market for a new phone, has anything caught your eye? What about the HomePod Mini? Are you also as excited as I am for this freaking HomePod Mini? If you got anything to say, leave it in a comment. And while you're down there, don't forget to like this video. If you loved the video, don't forget to subscribe. All that stuff really supports me and this channel, and it lets YouTube know that you like me and things like this. My podcast and my Patreon are always linked in the description down below, along with my social media, so feel free to check that out. Otherwise, that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay beautiful, have a marvelous day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!